Hello, today is that kind of review when I waited for it more than vast majority of my channel's audience. And today I will talk about Sony updated version of Sony True Wireless earphones WF-1000XM4. In my opinion, actually, Sony should think about some simplification of the naming, because I always keep forgetting WF is True Wireless and WH is for regular headphones, so really complicated, and 1000 is too long, so I think they need shorter naming, but it's not a problem, of course. I've tested XM third version, third revision of the True Wireless model, and it was pretty nice. And I'm a bit late with reviewing this model, but it's not my fault. Local distributors were pretty late in getting them in stock, so I had to wait a few additional months while they'll be available in my country. But anyway, of course, it's still a pretty new model, and it has almost the whole life cycle ahead. So let's talk about it, let's have a closer look, let's discuss it. And what this model brings, first of all, it's a new, more traditional shape of earpieces, and also probably more important or more interesting for us audiophiles is the support of LDAC codec. Previous version supported, if I remember right, it supported only SBC and AAC, but Sony decided to step over the aptX, and actually it's pretty logical. What is the purpose of paying additional money to Qualcomm if you have your own codec that is pretty popular and used almost everywhere? So they decided to add LDAC support here, finally, and actually improve this model in many aspects. Recommended price was $280, but it's available in the United States and in the Europe with discounts. So on the American Amazon it's available for $250, and in half a year or so there probably will be even more discounts. And actually wanted to mention that XM3 is still available in some places with really affordable prices. I've seen even below 150, and it's a really good offer for that money. But today we'll talk about the brand new fourth generation. Of course, it's really interesting of how they stand against competitors and what they can offer. In terms of package, Sony decided to go fully eco-friendly here, and to be honest, I don't like it much, because it's a one-way package that you open once and you won't be able to return it back. So you'll have to tear it here. It was glued more strongly, of course, and it opens two folds. Actually, it's made, I'm not sure, but it feels like some cardboard, some recycled cardboard. So I think that in the next generations they will just make it flushable, so for full recycling. And you'll get USB Type-C cable for charging, and non-surprisingly here you'll get, actually it's possible to take it out. And here you'll get additional tips. Tips are different now, but more about that a bit later. And here, case with earpieces, and underneath it's pretty hard to get it because everything is pretty slim. And here you'll get a different type of manuals, warranty cards, and so on. So of course eco-friendliness is great, but honestly I'd like to have an opportunity to gather everything in box for storage at least. So here they are. As you can see, comparing with previous revision, case became smaller and of course more pocket friendly. It also, what is most surprising, it has the same color as the box and it has the same rough surface, so it's pretty unusual to touch. I'm still not sure do I like it or no, but anyway, it's pretty interesting. There is a light gray and dark gray version, so light and this one is close to white and dark gray is close to black. And here are earpieces themselves. So as you can see, they decided to go for more traditional, convenient shells. Looks pretty stylish, also has this unusual touch surface. There are different microphones. If I understood correctly, it's located here, and they have a lot of microphones, sensors. Here are proximity sensors, so they can detect when they are in ear or taken out. Of course, there is the sensor controls. You can customize all aspects of controlling them with application. We'll show you an application a bit later. And in terms of wearing, they are pretty comfortable, but I've seen some complaints that not everyone managed to get the proper seal with these foam tips. As you can see, Sony decided to use unusual tips made of foam, and probably to achieve better passive sound isolation, because they have, of course, active noise cancelling, but for active noise cancelling you need a really good fit, and passive sound isolation is also really important here. Of course, you can take it off. Here is the spout, and there is some filter inside. Can put them back. So as usual, Sony designers did a lot of work here. For me, they are really comfortable to wear. I like them in ear. They are lightweight and feels pretty nice. And they have really good controls. I still like that Sony thing when you touch it, and that enables transparency mode. It's really convenient for fast chat at work. Microphone test I will add a bit later. In terms of working time, you can get up to 8 hours. Of course, a bit less with active noise cancelling, more without it, but working time is really good here. Background noise is barely audible. Connection quality is pretty nice if you're using LDAC with medium settings or LDAC with connection quality settings. LDAC in maximum quality mode could be sometimes unreliable, but it's common for all types of connections with LDAC in the sound quality mode. And case will give you 2 additional charges, so pretty nice work time in general. And case is pretty deep, so you can use it with some third-party tips. Not probably every single type of tips, but still at least you can find something else if you won't fit this foam ones properly. Anyway, let's summarize this part. As you can see, in terms of design, build quality and stuff, really good approach. Sony did a great work here. Here is the companion app for all Sony headphones and earphones. It has a lot of different tweaking options and stuff. You can see here listed name of the model. It currently used Bluetooth codec, charge status of left and right earpiece and of the case. And the current status shows the adaptive sound control. It has a pretty complicated feature. When you run this application on your smartphone, it can change that ambient sound controls based on your locations, based on your activity. So when you're walking the street, for example, it can enable slightly transparent mode, so you can hear what's going on around you. When you enter your home, for example, or in the evening, it can run full noise suppression and so on. And here is adaptive sound control. Here you can turn it on and off. Here you can select a particular profile and tweak the mode here. Yes, I want to exit. I don't want to dig into that stuff. Locations, it can register from learned locations or from maps, so really complicated settings possible here. Also, it shows the currently playing track and of course volume and navigation. And it's always trying to detect your location, but of course it's not available for the iBasso player. And here there is tutorial version, you can backup and restore information in the Sony cloud and so on. Also here is activity, and in activity you can earn badges. If you feeling competitive, if you need gamification of everything, you can go for it and get different badges. And also it gathers interesting statistics about your usage of headphones, how and when you use it. Not sure if that really useful, but anyway. And here you can get information about the versions and so on, and you can get additional tips. And here also you can change the sound, and here you can select noise cancelling. A really great feature, speak to chat. If earphones detect that you start talking, they making music quieter, enable transparency mode, so you can speak to someone and then they are turning back. Equalizer, and actually you can select different settings. You can adjust it, you can go for the custom mode, and in the custom mode you can tweak it however you want, and actually I prefer keep it off. And clear bass, with this function, when equalizer is enabled, you can add additional bass. Here it is, if you want, so how much bass you'd like to add, and you can change the equalizer to different settings what you want to hear. But actually I prefer keeping it off. And also Bluetooth connection quality, you can select priority on sound quality or priority on connection, and DSEE, it's some kind of Sony sound enhancer that pretty decently tries to fix the issues of lossy Bluetooth codec. And in system you can select voice assistant, it supports Google Voice and it supports Alexa voice, if I understand right. And you can select what sensors on the left, earpiece, and right is doing. So on the left, tap for noise cancelling ambient sound and continuous pressing for quick attention. And on the right you can use it for playback control. And actually I'm always in a mixed feelings here, because I want to control volume too, but I don't want to keep the possibilities to control ambient sound and playback either. So yeah, exit, we'll tweak it later. And detection of tips, so you put them into ears and run the detection. Should they be automatically powered off? It's really convenient feature that helping you to save the battery. Pause when headphones are out of your ears, notification and voice guide if you want, and you can select language, automatic download software and update. So as you can see, application is pretty complicated, but if you want to tweak different options, I think it's a plus. And here is traditional microphone test. I am recording this part of the video with earphones in my ears. I won't apply any gain correction or equalization, so this part will give you an idea of how their microphones sound. And of course about the sound. You know, actually during the extended audio test I actually not found out, but I confirmed the point that I don't like foam tips. Actually small foam tips from the accessory set of this model provides a good sound isolation, provide nice wearing comfort in general, but I don't like that sense of foam in my ear channels. Even the best ones like Sony did, but for me spin fit silicone tips are more comfortable. I like silicone, and also they are easier to insert for me. Thanks to the flexible part in these tips and thanks to strong magnets in case, they are pretty usable with this case. And probably CP360 will also work. But I need to do some additional long time tests to find out how how they will behave during the long run. But currently I will use them with spin feeds. And in terms of sound, actually Sony continued their signature approach. They provide energetic sound pretty actively using digital signal processing. There are tons of features of how you can engage this DSP in these earphones, starting with equalizer and clear bass, actually pretty nice bass boost implementation, and ending with complex things like DSEE, and actually they also provide some 360 surround sound. To set up that feature, you'll have to use smartphone, you'll have to take a photo of your ear, it will be analyzed, and then you can use Deezer and some other sources of audio with 360 degrees records, but I didn't go that way. I'm just like traditional old-fashioned audiophile, so just my favorite media library stored on my SD card, or streaming, but still without that fancy 360 stuff. One exception is Apple AirPods, but I already told about that in the review. Anyway, let's go back to this model. I will describe the sound based on the LDAC codec and without all enhancers, of course. And in terms of sound, they are energetic with slight focus on the bass and with treble that I can call comfortable. So bass goes pretty deep, and actually DSP in these earphones does its job to reconstruct low frequencies, let's say it, because you'll get a bit deeper bass than traditionally in the true wireless models. I already told that in many reviews that TWS and all other types of Bluetooth headphones suffers from the lossy compression of Bluetooth codecs, and they're losing a bit of deeper bass. Here you'll get better depth. It won't be 100% natural, but still it will be present, and they are really successful in providing that additional depth and providing that impact. Low frequencies here is pretty weighty, but they are not overdone. Of course, if you like bass heavy representation, clear bass at your service, you can get pretty bass heavy type of tuning. But in the default settings, bass is impactful with good punch and actually balancing good between weight and speed to give you both weight and impact. But it won't be overdone, so in stock version it's not bass heavy, but you can make them such. Resolution is normal, of course it's still Bluetooth, because Bluetooth reduces resolution and so on. But detalization is nice, texturing is also done really well. Of course, model suits more for electronic music, pop music, for genres that benefit from the mighty powerful low frequencies, but at the same time, you know, even with acoustic instruments, you'll still get that sound of highlighting for the low notes, and it sounds engaging. So a bit of engagement and energy over the naturalness, but it sounds really pleasant and done in a proper way. And as an example, just a clear, good example of such music, it's Ugly Boy by the Antwoord, and there is a lot of deep bass, a lot of mighty punches, and this earphones delivers it nicely with good sense of tightness. Mid frequencies, of course, suffer from the lossy compression of Bluetooth codecs. Resolution is just normal, but it's kind of among the best, of course, for the wireless connection. And thanks to LDAC codec, you'll get a bit more small nuances and details. Imagery stage is slightly above average both in width and in depth, but it's common for the Bluetooth models. This earphones tries to highlight a little bit emotions, try to highlight a little bit macro dynamics, small nuances and details, of course not forward, but it provides you overall comfortable sound. And also they trying to add a bit of additional weight and body for vocals and instruments, but thanks to tuners of this model, they're not overdoing that, and you'll get just a bit of presence for the vocals and not more on top of that. So energetic and really engaging type of mid representation. And as an example, I got Notre de Paris and the track Le Temps de Cathédrales. Sorry, my French listeners. I know that you frown now, but okay, let me fix that. So I want to say that, of course, France is a capital of modern musicals, starting with Notre Dame de Paris and ending with Mozart opera rock. They are great in creating modern sounding musicals with great performers, with great compositors, conductors, artists, and so on. But anyway, enough of that, and let's go back to the track and its overture for the Notre Dame de Paris, and it's just great. I like every single track, but of course this one is an opener, and it sets you at the perfect mood thanks to the great vocal and all other orchestral part too, and this model, thanks to the highlighted emotions, plays it even more efficient than it is in real life. Of course, because of Bluetooth compression, it loses a bit of naturalness, but still it sounds engaging, and through wireless models you're listening on the go, and it's not a place for the traditional audiophilia. If you want to listen to complex genres, of course go and get DVLA. And actually French earphones for French music, kind of nice pairing should be. Anyway, and treble. So treble is just comfortable. They are not too recessed or too softened, but of course they lacking a bit of energy. And of course don't expect here something like layering and superb extension. Extension is just average, and of course it's not the fault of earphones, just the lossy codec, but still it has a normal resolution, proper attacks and decays. They are not too forward, not too harsh, and that's it. Actually, I'd prefer them to be a bit more energetic to compensate the low frequencies, and even equalizer doesn't help with that. But it's my subjective preference, and I'm a fan of treble, but target audience will prefer this representation definitely. And still the amount of treble here is just good, so they're not lacking treble per se, they're lacking a bit of energy, but still amount of treble present here, and resolution and the text and decays are close to the best possible level, of course. And as an example, here is Pink Floyd, Wish You Were Here. To be honest, not my favorite track. I don't know why, but many people and many charts and other stuff says that it's the best Pink Floyd track. I'm totally disagree here. It's great, but to me it's not the greatest in their discography. Anyway, of course, good guitars, nice vocal, and proper quality of recordings. It's a lot of things goes to the treble area, and this model plays it like okay, and okay, but no cigar. And this album has track have a cigar, but it's still a normal level to enjoy the music, of course, if you won't compare them with some good wired model. And probably the most interesting thing is the compressions. It would be nice if I'd put all true wireless models on table and did the compressions, but unfortunately not the whole my collection with me now, so let's talk about that. You will picture yourself that models. Sony XM3, it's a noticeable step forward. They of course share the similar sound, but here you'll get slightly better resolution, especially noticeable in mids, more natural treble, and better working DSP that recreates low frequencies, because lows here is slightly more textured. Apple AirPods Pro, like AirPods Pro, is slightly more V-shaped with less depth on the low frequencies, with more focus on the mid bass, and with slightly worse active noise cancelling, but with slightly better microphones. Actually, microphones in AirPods Pro probably are among the best. but maybe it's because I use them with iPhone. And of course, AirPods Pro is like #1 choice for the iPhones. Integration to the ecosystem is a really good thing. And what we also got here, Sennheiser Momentum True Wireless third version or actually was it second? The version that I've tested, probably it was second version, not the third. It's slightly more impactful, slightly more forward on the mids and has more extended travel and more boosting energy and emotions. But actually, I think that Sennheiser needs to update their model. Everything moves really fast on that market, and actually now like modern true wireless models surpass it, and XM4 is a good example here. It's slightly better in terms of overall representation and actually noise cancelling. And also, of course, Sennheiser needs to provide the possibility for both models, for both earpieces work simultaneously. I mean, not simultaneously, but not separately. Yes, separately is the correct word here. DVLA is like a different beast. So, of course, DVLA is like more defined, more created for opera music, for classical music, for those who need like supernatural sound, and for those who need a bit more of audiophilia, let's name it this way. And the Noble Audio Falcon Pro actually is more natural, more engaging, but of course it's lacking tons of features like extended microphones and many other stuff. So actually Noble has new model Focus Pro, but I didn't test them yet. Probably will do it a bit later. So to summarize everything, Sony created another good true wireless model. It has some drawbacks, but still it provides good sound, long work time, good noise cancelling. Oh, speaking about noise cancelling, yet another model, of course, both in ear. They have better microphones, they have better noise cancelling, not by a big margin, but still noticeable. I like their fit in ears, and in terms of sound, actually they less boosting low frequencies and sounds more linear in general representation. And now I recalled all models I wanted to recall, and Sony XM4, of course, a great model, so I think everyone knew that even without me, but if you wanted to hear my opinion, here it is. Thank you for listening, thank you for your attention, and of course have a nice day.